Thanks for coming along on this adventure. This will be a feast for the eyes. And stick around for the later part of the video. I have an important message about reliability and the inevitable. This is one of the smoothest dirt roads I've ever been on. Conditions could always change, but for now, or at least for this foreseeable future, this trail should be no problem for most vehicles. In front of me is my friend Ernesto65 and his Ford F-150, 35-inch tires, Icon suspension, and he has the 5.0 V8 under the hood. This is footage from a Subaru Forester's cabin. Evan owns a Subaru and is just 1 inch lifted with all-terrain tires. In front of him is Sean B and his first generation Honda CRV, which is designated the RD1. It's also a 5-speed manual. Much respect to anyone that off-roads stick shift.
Star, if you see a crossing that you think would be particularly good to film, let me know. Ernesto's getting the money shots right now with all these splashes. So we get to do them on the way back too. So, Sean, by any chance you have a GoPro and are you recording? Sorry, I did not copy. Still didn't copy. You gotta.
Hey John, why don't you hang back? Let Ernesto pass you so we can record each other on these crossings.
So here's the cabin of my Traxxas 3.5-inch lifted 2019 Honda Passport. Because my IVTM4 equipped Honda has substantially more ground clearance in stock, many trails that would be difficult for all-wheel drive are much easier. At times, the creek will run right beside you. Just make sure you don't drive in it. It's a minimum $250 fine, and you'll be frowned upon by the off-road and overlanding community.
Can I go ahead past you right here?
Sure. This place is so incredibly beautiful, and with 27 water crossings and having to come back the way you came, it's times 2, so 54 water crossings. So now we're in the cabin of a highly modified Lexus GX 470, otherwise known as a Land Cruiser Prado in other countries. Not only is this thing lifted quite a bit, but it has long travel suspension by Kings and all sorts of other things. The owner of this rig is John Principal, otherwise known as Dark Star Overland on Instagram.
That tower of a rocket head. These things are a lot deeper than I expected them to be after seeing the stream.
So on these water crossings, you want to be careful. No matter what you drive, you want to be careful about hydrolocking your engine. If you splash through these at high speed, you could suck in water. These are pretty shallow, but if it was just a little bit deeper and longer, you can totally not only hydrolock, but also take out your alternator.
So thank you very much for coming along on this adventure. And I know most of it is going to be dash footage, but this place is so incredibly beautiful. That's kind of the theme for a lot of the trails in Moab, Utah. So I highly recommend you visit this place. Don't be discouraged, because this place has a reputation of having some of the most toughest trails. There are a lot of easier trails for something like an all-wheel drive. There is a section with a semi-steep uphill climb, but it's nothing that you wouldn't come across on a paved highway.
By the way, I really like this trail. I also like how it's wide in so many places. So if there was cross traffic, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to to pass.
Like, what should I go do in Moab? Almost everyone recommends it.
So right after the steep section, you are going to come to the end of Onion Creek. This trail leads to much more difficult trails like Lockhart Basin. That's a trail that you definitely do not want to put an all-wheel drive on. Not even a stock four-wheel drive. At least that's what I hear. So at this point, we're going to get to the end and then make our way back. Now, in every single episode, I like to talk about something profound, or at least I aspire to. And I think I got a pretty good one for this episode. I'm going to talk about how all vehicles, no matter how much of a reputation they have for being reliable, will break down. It doesn't matter what you drive. Now, it's nicer to have one of the more reliable vehicles. They're going to last longer. But just know that there will be a point where a vehicle will break down, especially if you take it on off-road and overland adventures. Now, with that said, modifications are going to affect reliability. For example, a lift kit is going to put strain on the vehicle suspension. It now has to work harder. Adding more weight is going to make the suspension work harder. Adding bigger tires is going to put more stress on the transmission, the drivetrain, and also the steering rack.
Sorry, John, my tire doesn't want to turn. It's like stuck in this divot. Fine, John, you're going to get some of that difficult footage.
It's not that bad.
I don't know what the hell just happened. I think I just lost my power steering. You need help, John?
Oh no, we're good. That was nothing really. That would be like level 2. But oh, John, that Dark Star John, yeah, he something's up. Wait, hold on, guys, hold on. He's saying that his thing is having trouble, like with power steering. Can you turn? Can you turn?
So the inner part of your rack?
Yeah. It's this, here's the rack right here. There's like a piece that goes, there's a whole sleeve that goes into it.
It screws in.
It screws it?
It screws in. So what happens is it's called the inner tie rod in, and it screws in.
No,
and that bars
it's
the
not
outer tie rod
it's
in.
not the inner, the outer tie rod. It's like the whole piece.
Yeah,
It's this whole sleeve. You see this right here?
Here, let me see.
If you grab the whole boot and just pull it towards you, that thing slides out.
40 gram. That's
You see that?
Oh yeah, okay. It's supposed to be, push it back in. There's supposed to be a clip that holds that in. That's what your inner boot goes, your inner joint goes onto.
so. Can we use like some kind of
Wait,
like
let me see.
pipe clamp or something? Hose clamp? A hose clamp?
It screws in. That screws in.
That's threaded?
That's threaded. So
Here, let me get another one.
I think you're gonna have to.
That's good news.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to take the tie rod in that loose and spin it out of that. Go in there, screw it in.
How would that whole thing come unscrewed without the tie rod coming in?
Because it's a joint, so it spins. Ball and socket. I have a big crescent wrench.
I don't see any threads.
Just on the inside of that nut. See, that's a big nut. See, that's a big nut right there, and there's threads right on the end of that.
Maybe turn the engine off so it's not so hot.
Good idea.
Oh, it is threaded.
Yeah, that's threaded. So that screws in. So
And so the whole thing should be able to thread right back in.
So you can thread it and then just that's what your inner tie rod in goes to.
Well, you think if we just undo the boot, then the whole thing will spin?
Because that's on a joint, so that it should spin. So that's like a ball and socket right there. So that big nut should turn on that shaft.
The odds of that thing coming in. It's spinning. I don't know if it's threading in though. I can't watch it thread.
You just have to feel it.
That's what I'm feeling it. Do you see it going in?
Spin it.
Can I see that for a second?
Say I got it lined up right there. Yeah, you're.
I think you're going in.
Yeah, it looks like you're up to it. I don't see the gaps.
Yeah,
out
you're
there.
getting. I think you're getting in there.
Nice.
I don't know.
You are. It's moving.
Is it threading in
I
though?
think.
Push in as you're threading.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's still really hot.
Keep going. I think you're just bumped right up against it.
Yep, it's not going in.
I mean, you got rid of that gap.
Yeah, the gap
There,
is gone
so
now.
you can feel it. You can feel how that hit
You're
in.
up against the threads. It just went up against the threads.
Yeah.
You just got to try lefty. It might be left-handed.
Now it's tall enough so I could reach in here and get this jack stand. There we go.
Down on it.
There we
and we'll
go.
Get that better aligned enough to go on there. And then Eddie doesn't have to be under the world's most dangerous car and held up by a highway.
If it came down like this,
Give him a nice headache.
no, it wouldn't.
So we weren't able to reconnect Dark Star Overland steering rack. So we decided that we would just he would just drive it without power steering, which, you know, is inconvenient, could be dangerous, but he is able to limp back to camp.
So it needs to be pulled, or Nesto is probably the best one to do it. Yeah, that's what I was shooting for.
Alright, here we go. So, Dark Star just doesn't have power steering. That's all. And we got a night ground.
So just know that eventually parts will wear out and they will break. And Dark Star, even though he has this highly modified Lexus GX or Land Cruiser Prado, there are beefier steering racks that he could upgrade to. So he has a really positive attitude about this. His plan is to limp it back home, cut the trip short, go back home, and install a beefier steering rack.
I kind of think it sheared out the threads on the rack. I think I'm ordering a 200 series rack when I get home.
I thought the GX already had the Land Cruiser rack.
I'm sorry, the 80 series Land Cruiser rack, it's really beefy.
Oh, gotcha. 80 series is a solid front axle. Shouldn't that have a recirculating ball?
No, the 80 series has the exact same, pretty much like the exact same rack.
They use a steering rack with a solid axle?
Yeah, I'm almost positive it comes from the 80. It's either the 80 or the 100 that has the beefier rack. I'm pretty sure it's the 80. I know what you're saying now, though, with it being a solid front.
Ernesto and Dark Star, you guys want to make your way up here behind me? Everyone else ready to roll out?
John, come up behind me for the support, though.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna be behind. Ooh. Oh wait, hold on. Turn passenger. You're driving up a rock right now. Wait, hold on. Woo. All right.
I gotta have some momentum where it just goes where it wants to go. Get me the hell out of this awesome canyon.
Yeah, let's roll out.
Okay, gonna be driving home with 3 brake rotors, or 3 brake calipers, busted ass things.
All on fire roads too.
So there's no reason that a trail like this would break parts. And that's the point I want to make. Eventually, your vehicle will break down just due to wear and tear. So it would be important to do inspections before you go on a trip, because this was a 7-day Utah trip. It's really hard to inspect a steering rack, so can't really blame Dark Star for that. But there are other things you could look at, like all the bolts that hold your suspension together. You should make sure that everything's tight. You could definitely delay the inevitable by airing down. That's going to put less stress on your vehicle's suspension and other parts, like that steering rack. But again, components will fail. It is inevitable. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you found it informational. And geez, the beauty of Onion Creek is unreal. So till next time, I hope you have fun on your adventures.